What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about our back squat setup. We're continuing our Strength as a Skill series. We're going to talk about a few of the coaching points that we're looking for when we're doing a proper back squat. So the first point up here on the board, bar position. That's a pretty big one. There's a couple different ways to do a squat, and we like to do what we call a high bar squat, and we want to position that bar across the low or the bottom of our traps. Alright, should be in a comfortable position across the meaty part of the neck. The next thing here, sometimes we see hands go a little too wide. We want to be about a thumb's length off of the knurling of that bar. It's going to be pretty similar to where you did your strict press. Sometimes when we go too wide, causes some things to happen that we want to try to avoid. So thumb's length off the knurling is a good position. And then continuing with the hands, we want to keep the wrists straight. Sometimes we'll see people get under the bar with bent wrists. And we want the elbows in a down, relaxed position. Sometimes we'll see the elbows crank up, puts our chest in an unfavorable position. We want to try to avoid that. And then finally the feet. We want to be about a shoulder width stance. That's going to fluctuate just a little bit depending on your body type. But we don't want to be in a hip width stance like we were on the strict press. And then we don't want to go too far wide to where it forces the knees to cave in, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And the last part here, we want the toes just slightly pointed out, just a little bit. We don't want to toe out and end up doing a plie. We want to keep those toes fairly straight ahead. All right, and Rob's going to demonstrate this coming up here right now. What's up, guys? We got Rob here taking the bar off the rack to show us what we're looking for in that back squat setup position. So the first thing, we want to talk about that bar position. If you notice, he's got the bar across the bottom of the traps. Right? That's a really good place, really comfortable place. Allows him to keep his chest up. He's going to show us a couple of bad positions here. So that would be a little bit too high. Right? That's not a very comfortable position. Causes you to kind of roll that neck forward, which is not what we're looking for. And then sometimes we'll see people going too low, almost to where we're doing a low bar back squat, which is not what we're working on here. So we want to just make sure that we're at the bottom of the traps, good, comfortable position. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about those wrists. Right now, Rob's showing us bent wrists. We do not want those. We want to be straight. Right, there we go. And then also, if you notice, he's got a thumb's length off of that knurling. Right, he's even on both sides. Super important, especially when we have a lot of weight on the bar. You have to be even on each side. And then if you look at his elbows, he's in a good kind of relaxed elbow position. They're just straight down. Sometimes we'll see people crank them up a little too much, right? That causes the chest to come forward, which is certainly not what we want on a back squat. Occasionally we'll see the elbows come in front of the bar too much, if you want to show that position. Can't really see it from back here, but that's obviously not a great place to be on a squat, not a strong position. And then, yeah, let's show the hands going a little bit too wide. Some guys have a tendency to do this because of flexibility issues, and what this causes is those elbows always want to crank up on us, and that just causes that chest to come forward a little bit, making it tougher for us to keep that torso upright in that squat. So low part of the traps, thumbs length off the knurling, wrist straight, elbows down, guys. That's what we're looking for. Alright, guys, in the last part here, we're going to talk about the feet in the back squat. Rob right here is set up in more of a jumping stance. He's in our strict press setup, and he's going to walk out to a shoulder width stance. That's where we want to be for a back squat. That's a good starting point for most people. There might be a little bit of fluctuation in or out, but for the most part, shoulder width is what we're looking for. And the last part, we're going to talk about his toes. If you see, they're just a little turned out right now. That's what we're looking for. We don't want them to be overly turned out here. Yeah, right there. That squat's going to end up working the inner thighs a little bit too much, and we're trying to work the hamstrings and the glutes. And to do that, we want to keep those toes mostly straight ahead, just a little bit turned out at the top there. All right, guys, get after it. Alright, guys, and the last thing we're going to talk about here is basically how to take that bar off the rack, making sure that your body is nice and tight before you get into that rep. So Rob's got his hands lined up in the right spot. He's going to get his body underneath that bar, right? Find that good position at the bottom of the traps. He's going to take a big breath in through the mouth, hold it, get tight, stand up with that weight, walk back a couple steps, find that good foot position. Now he's going to exhale, right? Stand back up, get nice and tight again, another big breath in. Good. Now he's going to go for his back squat. Butt back and down, getting deep, driving up out of the bottom. All right, we'll get into execution next time, but want to make sure we get nice and tight before that rep. Thanks.